What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today we have a super cool knife to talk about. This is the Bestech Eskra. Really awesome piece here. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Here's the box. Hope that's correct. Maybe you guys would pronounce it the same way. So I'm fortunate enough to have two Bestech knives, two knives from their premium line in my possession today. I did the review on this one yesterday, and at the time, I did not have this one. I know I've already done the unboxing videos, but you guys have to remember all these are pre-recorded. I was impressed with this knife, but oh man, it might be just because of the aesthetics. There are a lot of really cool things to point out about this knife, and I am excited to talk about it. Let's go ahead and get some measurements here. The overall length of the Eskra coming in at, again, like the Ornetta, about 8.5 inches. You can see there it's about 8.5 inches. How about the blade length? Blade length coming in 3.6 inches, something like that, cutting edge. 3.5 inches on the, nope, I'm sorry, that's wrong. 3.25 inches on the cutting edge. Again, this knife does have a forward choil. Let's do some size comparisons here real quick. Up against the, actually, let's do the Ornetta first, because they're the same length. 8.5 inches overall. Let's do the Ontario Rat Model 1, even though it's a little bigger. The Rat 1's 8.6 inches overall, so this is these are Rat 1 sized knives. Up against the PM2 coming in at 8.3 inches overall. Up against the Hinderer XM18. Hinderer XM18 coming in at 8.25 inches overall. Up against the Ritter Hogue, Benchmade Griptilian or Ritter Hogue, 8 inches overall there. And last but not least, up against the Spyderco Delica coming in at 7 inches overall. Let's go ahead and weigh this guy. Give you a example of the action here. Little bit smoother than the Ornetta, and I know I didn't give you a good example there, but the blade is just, if it's a little bit heavier, we'll talk about that in the blade shape. So really nice action there. Overall weight, 4.97 ounces. Feels a little heavier than the Ornetta, 4.97 ounces. So about 5 ounces is what we're looking at here. And that's due to, again, this being a full titanium knife with a pretty thick blade stock. You also have some excess, some fatness or some tallness to this blade. So the blade's pretty heavy. Otherwise, the handle scales and the makeup of the handle is about the same as the Ornetta. So, it's very similar in handle shape to the Ornetta. It's really just the blade shape that's different, and there's more material on the Eskra. So that's probably the excess weight, half an ounce or so. Let's go ahead and talk about, actually, let's talk about price first. This is $254, exactly the same as the Ornetta. Yesterday I said $253. $254, what you're getting here in this case is a nice light tumble finished M390 blade. You are getting full titanium milled and sculpted handles on both sides. Titanium backspacer, titanium pocket clip. You're getting a decorative pivot. A lot of excess work going into this. Really beautiful. These are just awesome. I have come to truly love Bestech knives. Right now, I'm really drooling over their premium line, and I've looked through it, and there's some tempting ones, but I'm waiting. There's gonna be a Wii knife that's gonna be exactly right for me. There's going to be a Bestech knife that's exactly right for me. I've already made a re-op purchase, but these companies are just like, they are competing so fiercely with each other for this, for both the really nice budget line knives, that you're seeing bearings in D2, 50 to 75 bucks, sometimes a little less expensive than that, and they're definitely competing at this $250 mark for the full titanium or titanium with carbon fiber inlays with M390 blades. They're really fighting hard, and the end result is we're getting these beautiful knives that are just like, there's so much detail in these. It's just insane. So let me talk about the different versions as you can get. The Ornetta has only 3 different versions. This Eskra, however, has, I want to say it's like 3 or 4 different versions, and there's also left-handed models. So if you're left-handed and you want one of these, they make them. You can get this green and brass version, which is definitely the one I would go for if it were me. There's a black washed version. There's a tumbled version. I think there's a blue version. So if there's those 4 colors and they're right and left-handed, there are 8 different versions of this knife with 4 different color combinations. That's pretty cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the anatomy of this knife. We have a very interesting blade shape here. I mean, I guess it's still a drop point. An enormous amount of cutting belly. I mean, look at that. Look at the curvature of that blade. That is wild. You have a flat that's actually curved upward. That's interesting and different. Normally not something aesthetically I would like, but it's just growing on me. You know, I really like it. You've got a blade stock thickness that's it looks pretty thick, but I think it's probably the same as the Ornetta. It's probably not 165 thousandths like the XM18. Let's put it up against the Ornetta. That's because I've got it here. No, you know, it looks like it's a little bit thicker. Maybe it's the light, you know, the fact that the one of these is black wash. Let's put it up against the PM2. PM2 is 145 thousandths. I'm feeling like this looks ever so slightly thicker. Maybe 150, 155 thousandths. I don't know for sure. The blade is definitely heavier on this guy than the Ornetta. You have a slot here that actually makes the standard thumb flick easier than on the Ornetta. You can definitely do that. You know, it's very repeatable. You can do the reverse flick, and you can absolutely do the flipper tab. Flipper tab is shaped very, very well. It's in a very convenient spot. It's easy to flip repeatedly if you're the type of person like me who likes to sit on their couch and flip them thousands of times while you're watching TV or doing whatever. Yeah, this is very comfortable. Nice landing zone back here. Everything, all the corners are so nicely rounded off. Everything feels so nice to the touch. This green is striking. I mean, absolutely striking. It looks so good. I'm a sucker for green titanium. So that's really cool. This one is very satisfying to flip given the weight of that blade and the tuned detent. Very nicely tuned detent. You can see there. Nice detent and perfectly centered. Incredible flipping action. Right up there. Just top tier. You know, top tier flipping action. These companies have this down. You know, there should not, if you're paying this much money for a knife and it's a flipper on bearings, it should flip this well every single time. They have this formula figured out. It's done. There's pretty much no excuse anymore to have a weird detent or a flipping action that's just not good. You know, it's dependent on a lot of things. The weight of the blade is helping it out here, but I mean, this formula I feel like is down, and I'm just happy about it. You have the same decorative style pivot that you have on the Ornetta, except it's finished in satin instead of black. On this version, you do have the brass rings as well. It's kind of weird in contrast with the green. I would have just preferred the whole thing with satin, including the backspacer back here, which you can see is also a brassy finish. And here's why. The screws are satin. So the screws are satin, but you have brass here, and you've got brass here, and you've got brass in the brass-colored pocket clip. It's not actually brass. I think it's titanium. It just has that finish on it. I'd have just preferred all the hardware was satin colored. So you just have 2 colors, but that's just me. That's a preference thing. Like I said, some internal milling there helping out with weight because the titanium scales are pretty thick. A nice 3D sculpted titanium pocket clip. I'm never a fan of the curved ones, like I said on the Ornetta, but it definitely fits the theme of this knife. About this much is sticking out of your pocket, so not a whole lot sticking out of the pocket. You do, of course, have a steel lock bar insert with that doubles as an over travel stop. Initially locking up at about 20-25%. This knife, just like the Ornetta, was also provided to me by the manufacturer, so I appreciate that. Really, it's part of the pass-around group. I think I'm one of the first people in the pass-around group to handle this. It looks extremely new. The edge feels just about perfect and very, very thin behind the edge, very sticky. So I imagine this thing, especially, just given the blade shape, it looks like it will make an excellent slicer. You have this is my style of jimping. Ever so slightly raised, like going at an angle that way. The notches are large, lots of places to catch your thumb. The ergonomics on this guy are just off the freaking charts. This is so comfortable. I love how much room my fingers have. I love that I'm not really forced into any particular position. There's lots of room in the choil. Everything feels so controlled and so good. The action on this guy is just fantastic. Fit and finish is just beyond excellent. I mean, everything, all the lines on this guy are just absolutely perfect. Nothing is funky. Nothing is off. All these machine lines are just absolutely beautiful. Everything just looks perfect. M390 and the grind on the blade is perfectly symmetrical on both sides. Oh, man, this is perfect. I love it. Guys, this is another easy review. You know, if it were me, I always do this part where I'm like, if it were me, this is what I'd change. You know, aesthetically, this thing has a lot of stuff going for it that's really, really cool, and it's going to draw a lot of people in. And just like the Ornetta, you know, you've got the materials that you should expect at this price range. You have M390, you have titanium, it's running on bearings, it's got the steel lock bar insert, blah, blah, blah. It's got all that. Beyond that, what you're paying for is the style that appeals to you. The color, the silhouette, the shape of the handle, the milling lines, blah, 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 all that. If this appeals to you, go for it. It's worth it, you know, definitely. If you like the shape of the blade, you like the shape of the handle, they've got a color scheme that you like. Yeah, this is an unbelievably well-made knife. Perfect, and hits the bar, you know, right where it should be. Where the bar, you know, the bar is kind of set for this $250 mark as far as what you should expect. It hits that and then goes beyond it. Absolutely. Your money is well spent if you're the type of person that's looking for a knife in this price range. If you're not the type of person to ever spend more than $50 for a pocket knife, then no, this probably isn't for you because you don't like to spend more than $50 for a pocket knife. I would, however, suggest you check out their budget line because they definitely make some of the best budget folding knives in the world as far as like knives for that price range. But anyways, yeah, I mean, this is an excellent knife. If I was going to change anything about it, I don't know. You know, I'd like less of the craziness here in the handle. It looks nice, but I would love for this all just to be contoured, leave these parts out, and make this whole area right here exactly like this with the lines. I guess you can call them the vertical lines or the horizontal lines or whatever. Make this whole area like this, just make it nice and just uniform, contoured all the way down. Of course, some people are going to like these lines, so that's a preference thing. With the blade, you know, I love this initial belly. I don't know if I need this curved flat. I would make it more of a classic drop point, but again, the blade is giving it character, so that's going to be a preference thing. There's nothing to complain about here. It's right-handed tip up only, which is the exact same thing with the Ornetta. We didn't talk about that. But if you're left-handed and you like this knife, you can get a left-handed version of it. If you're a tip-up kind of person, sorry, that's not the case here. But this is a flipper. In my opinion, you really shouldn't be carrying a flipper tip, tip down. You don't want a flipper left or right-handed carry. You don't want flippers tip down because it's easier for something to come in contact with the flipper tab. Whereas carrying it like this is more on the inside of your leg, so it's not as likely to accidentally deploy in your pocket. This is an easy, short review. I'm extremely impressed with Bestech. I really like their stuff, both budget and premium. This is my favorite knife by them that I have seen or handled. I've only handled 2 in their premium line now, but man, these are awesome. Check them out. Check this one out. You know, I mean, you're getting the good stuff with these Bestech knives. You know, they all come in these nice zipper pouches here. You open them up here. There's pockets on both sides. It's a lot like the Wii knives. And even though the microfiber cloth isn't in there, they do come with the microfiber cloth. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for today. Nice, short, easy review, at least for my channel. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So please check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, then please subscribe to my channel because there is definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.